Not at all. I think it needs to be completely dismantled and built back up again. And it starts from the ground up in your backyard, in your little village, your town, your municipality, whatever. Start there, because if you're not, like I said, the mayor isn't coming to my house today to make sure I got dressed and brushed my teeth. I'm doing it. He's not making sure I went shopping to put food on the table. I'm doing it. So he's there just to manage to make sure the parks are mowed and the traffic lights are working and streets look pretty and all that kind of stuff. And of course, run a police force and keep it safe. That's basically his job or her job. And we have got to come back to that mindset. People just have forgotten about it, Scott, and it disturbs me to a great extent when I see people that just don't care at all about any of this. They're completely immune. They don't understand how it works, and nor could they rattle off the first 10 amendments to our Constitution. They couldn't do it. So we have a real problem in this country. Give me the first 3 or 4 or 5, but they might even know freedom of speech is the First Amendment. They don't even know that. That's just how bad it is in this country, and that's by design. That's by our education system. So start with that building, take it down, and then go through the rest of the federal government up there, IRS, Department of Energy, so on and so forth. We don't need it. We don't need it.
Yeah, we don't. And that's why when I threw this out on a whim when we were out in Las Vegas, I talked about, it came out. We have got to get people off the bench, especially in the special forces community, the Navy SEALs. Thousands of these guys sitting around out there watching our country burn. I just threw it out. We're going to launch an initiative called Operation Restoration. We're going to restore this country because we're going to get the elite war fighters to step up, formulate, teach these people how to, because it's a matter of perception. I've been talking to these guys, Navy SEALs and a couple other Spec Ops guys, since I came back from Vegas after that live stream. And here's what I found out. These guys, they found out something, and so did I. These guys are sitting here watching the country burn. And a number of these guys are really pissed because they're thinking, we were professional, highly trained door kickers for a bunch of criminal bankers.
Right.
And the hell that they had to see and inflict on their behalf. Some of these guys are totally broken. One friend of mine, his best friend, he'd been in combat with, blew his head off. These guys have come back with a lot of things that have gone on up here from what they were doing, realized it, basically were forced to do. One guy told me, he said, we got an order to go in this Taliban village. And these people have these mud huts with like a hole for a window, all this stuff, what you would think. And their orders were to go in there and kill everything, every child, every man, everybody. This is who these scumbag politicians in DC are, and their commanders, who are also the guys that get facilitated up through the Ivy Leagues. We're not talking about real battlefield soldiers here. And so they come back and they're faced with this. So that's one realization that I had from that. And they're watching the country burn and they're feeling helpless. Well, now I said, here's the thing. Because one guy was he kept saying, I can't believe I'm actually talking to Scott McKay. I'm like, you kidding me? He goes, you're the Patriot Street Fighter. I'm like, let me explain something to you. I'm talking to you. And I said, let me tell you how it is out here in my world. Anywhere we are, doesn't matter where you are. Somebody points out a guy over there and says, hey, hit elbows. See that dude over there? Yeah. That guy's a Navy SEAL.
Right.
Shit. Really? And people stare at him and they watch him. What does a Navy SEAL look like? That guy's Delta Force. That guy's an Air Force commando or was or whatever.
They're glorified badass is what they are. They're just
and what do we
serious badassery. Awesome.
Serious badassery. And what do we do in public? We're like, wow, you're watching them. You're like,
yeah. How do you get to be like that? How are you a badass? Yeah. It's like superpowers.
It's super. Yeah. It's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle meets Lou Ferrigno, whatever. Anyways, so anyways, what I was telling the first guy that I talked to, I said, now just take what I told you, okay? Imagine what it would be like for people out here that we start at the low levels, a school board meeting, because that's where battle starts, right at school board meetings, because all these lackeys who've never done shit in their lives, these guys have never done anything in their lives, they have nothing better to do. They like to get in a position of power and control. I'm the guy that says what goes, or the woman who says what goes, and they infested this lower level government. If we have people now going to these school board meetings, and the insanity is everywhere, and somebody stands up, here's just an example. Hi, my name's so-and-so. I appreciate what you folks are doing. I served my country. I was, in this particular unit. I served in this SEAL team in Iraq, et cetera. I defended my country. I love this country, blah, blah, blah. I have some questions to ask you. And then they start asking them the tough questions. And if they're getting bullshit, then they can say, don't do it the way I do it. Stop the bullshit. Answer the question. do it diplomatically. But guess what? Everybody sitting on both sides and behind them, they're going to be like, holy cow, listen to this Navy SEAL or this special forces guy calling these people out. And what do? Boom. They gravitate. When this guy's done with them, they're cheering. They're like, yes, it's about time. And what do they want to do? They want to get behind this guy.
That's right.
That's what we need. We need to draw these guys off the bench because they're revered. They don't even have to be special forces in. There's a lot of badass soldiers, enlisted guys that had gone through amazing experiences, have leadership training. We need our retired military, in my opinion, is the secret weapon because of the.
I agree.
If they come to the conversation, an army, they won't have to stop, turn around and see if anybody's following. They'll get mowed down by an army. That's where we start gaining ground at the school board level. Go to these county commissioner meetings where all these lackeys and all these scumbags are doing what they're doing to the cities and the towns. From there on up, if you just go toward the federal government, you're not going to win because they've taken ground clear to the base level of all of it. That's where right. It has to begin.
Base hits win the game. You just keep cranking the people around the bases, right? Home runs, not everybody can hit one. You got to keep hitting those base hits. And we forgot that. Everybody thinks government's run in DC. Government runs amok in DC. Remember Ronald Reagan's most famous sentence was, I'm here. What's the 3 most feared words? I'm here from the federal government, here to help. What? No. No. You don't want to ever hear the federal government is here to help, because that's when you need to run as fast as you possibly can. But you're absolutely right. And Scott, the thing is, these people that get in these positions of, quote, power, sitting on the school board, they become lifers on the school board or whatever it is, and they move, from different positions, they bounce around. It's all, to them, it's about power. It's really not about getting anything done. The elementary school I grew up and went to in northern New Jersey had 100 kids in it. 10 or 20 years later, a new principal for that school came along. She was paid $250,000 a year to manage a K-8 school of 100 children. Think about that. $250,000 a year for 100 kids. All right. Little town. That's taxpayer money. This woman was corrupt beyond corrupt. They spent money out of, the property taxes, boom, 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 because she had to have this, had to have that. Not these kids, their education was going in the wrong direction. It was about what things look like, but not how things got done. Now, when I went to that school, we actually learned our 3 R's. We learned about civics. We learned about government. Otherwise, I'm telling you, I wouldn't know what I know today. I had a really good foundation, but that's education from many years ago. Today, kids get 0 on that. And it's because you have these scumbags, like you say, sitting on the school board that don't care about what the kids are learning. They want to make sure they can change the curriculum to what their social justice warrior agenda is all about. They don't care about actual truths and facts and where we've come from, so we know where we're going. They want to completely rewrite it all. Why? So they can continue to justify their position and vote themselves, pay raises, and keep going. And then they're going to try and figure out, if they want to get on the move, how they can move up the food chain quickly. They make connections, they find their wealthy donors, and it just goes on, and the favors go out. And it's not about anything to do with the kids, Scott. And there you're right. This is where that stuff breeds, and it goes to DC. And if we don't stop it here in our backyard, that sewage trail is on its way to DC, and it's just filling the swamp. It's just filling the swamp from all over the country, sending their sewers worst into Washington, DC, right out of the school boards. You're 100% right.
You freaking nailed it. You're right. That's every one of these people that get in that position of power, those little small communities, they get in a position of power, they want to elevate. Look, and then you want to get to the next level. I watched a guy, again, this is a guy, another criminal, Scott Conklin, Democrat state representative in the district where I grew up. Okay. This guy owns a beautiful, he and his wife, I know his wife, she's a wonderful person. They own an incredible, I don't want to call it an antique store. It's like this big, beautiful red barn, an old barn. You walk in, you're like, this place is stunning. It's picturesque. But what did this clown do? They put potato chips or whatever else, a potato chip stand in there so they could stay open, just like Governor Wolf did. Their cabinet manufacturing stayed open when all businesses shut down. And this guy ran for everything from dog catcher on up for years to try to win, because he did well in business. He's a smart business guy.